Could you really be in this town?
Silent Hill, a franchise that started all the way back in 1999. With subsequent releases, it became known as a cult classic in the horror franchise, being one of the most well-known horror series. When word came out that there would be a remake of the 2001 hit Silent Hill 2, some people had their doubts on whether they could pull this game off, considering how loved the original game was. People seemed generally divided, with some happy that they could relive the game in a modern age, and others thinking there was no way they could top the original game. Silent Hill 2 Remake was made by Bloober Team, known for titles such as Layers of Fear, Blair Witch, and The Medium. These were all horror-themed, walking simulator-type games, and I can see why Konami chose Bloober Team to recreate Silent Hill 2. Their atmospheric storytelling and experience with horror seemed perfect for this task. The Medium also seems Silent Hill inspired due to shifting between two different worlds as a main gameplay element. However, there seemed to be one problem. The distinct lack of combat in Bloober Team's other games meant that this was their first time exploring that realm. As trailers were released, doubts only grew. Their combat reveal trailer was not fantastic, to say the least. Combat animations were lacking, and it was heavily criticized for looking like an action game. It just lacked a lot of polish that people were hoping for. The game released, and it was actually a success. A remake that managed to capture the magic of the original well, while also adapting to modern standards. I have never played the original, or any Silent Hill game, but looking at how much people were enjoying it, and being a huge fan of survival horror, I decided to pick it up soon after release. And it was definitely the right choice. Silent Hill 2 Remake ticks all the boxes I look for in a horror game. The atmosphere, deep and meaningful storytelling, enjoyable gameplay mechanics, and puzzles all clicked with me. The game is not perfect by any means, and some sections were too long for my liking, but I really wanted to make a video to explore what made the game a success, and why I personally enjoyed it as much as I did. Since I haven't played the original, this is simply going to be a deep dive into my thoughts, and not a comparison video like many others. I hope you enjoy it.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
You play as James Sunderland, who receives a letter from his wife Mary, although it is strange because she has been dead for 3 years. James mentioned that she died from a disease. Travelling through a forest and into a graveyard, we find a young woman called Angela who tells us not to venture into Silent Hill. After ignoring her advice and heading straight to the town, it's not as it once was, filled with horrifying creatures that James slowly discovers, and parts of town are sealed shut and shops boarded up. We are led to the woodside apartments, where we meet Laura, a mischievous child who we seem to chase around, and Eddie, a guy that threw up all the pizza he ate. Angela is also here, and we receive her knife, which is a personal item. These are important for the endings of the game. We encounter Pyramid Head, one of the most iconic enemies in the franchise. He seems to be a representation of James's subconscious and the dark thoughts he brings with him. After James tries to shoot at his head, which is made of metal, I don't know what he was thinking there, we head through a red door which transfers us to an even more dark and gloomy version of the world, with a fight with Pyramid Head at the end. Following the apartments, we head out into the normal world again to the pier. A woman named Maria is here, who looks exactly like James's dead wife Mary, but she is dressed and acts in a very seductive way towards him. She accompanies us on our journey for a while, and we visit a strip club, which she pulls out a key out of her boobs to open the door,
and the cinema, where Eddie already ate his pizza and has started on the popcorn. Chasing Laura down to Brookhaven Hospital, Maria decides she's too tired and wants a nap, so we continue to look for Laura ourselves. We eventually find her, where she tells us she knows Mary and that there's a letter from Mary in a room that she then locks us in to fight Fleshlit, one of the bosses. After a large amount of trekking through the overworld, we meet up with Maria again, who dies right in front of us. Heading to Tulka prison, we continue our descent into madness with a fight at the end with Abstract Daddy. Discovering Maria is alive again, who pretends her death didn't happen, we venture into a labyrinth which is just as confusing as Maria's words. Pyramid Head chases us around until we meet dead Maria again, and then we fight Eddie in a scary meat room. No pizza to be found here, unfortunately. Before travelling across the water to a hotel that James and Mary stayed at previously. Laura's here and she shows us a letter that Mary wrote to her for her 8th birthday. Laura tells us that she turned 8 last week, and James pieces together that Mary didn't actually die 3 years ago. Exploring the hotel for a while and getting to room 312, the special room, we get this scene, which is one of the most important in the entire game.
Promise you'll take me again, James.
A videotape shows that James killed Mary by smothering her with a pillow. After sitting in the chair for God knows how long, we see the hotel in the other world, find Angela who walks into flames, and fight 2 Pyramid Heads at once, but not before Maria dies once again. The final boss then takes place, and you fight Maria or Mary depending on the choices you made throughout the game, and this also determines your ending. There's 3 endings on the first playthrough. I got the leave ending, so I fought Maria and left Silent Hill with Laura, with James realising his actions and intending to start a new life now he has accepted what he did. If you are nice to Maria, don't look at personal items in your inventory, and choose certain options in puzzles, you can get the Maria ending. To me, this seemed like the worst ending, as James does not repent for all the bad deeds he's done and shows no remorse, succumbing to Maria to escape from his guilt. And finally, there's the in-water ending, which people deem to be the bad ending, but I personally think Maria's ending is worse. In this one, James is overcome by guilt and decides to end it all because of it, and does end up repenting for his sins in the way. To get this, you need to not care about James's well-being throughout the game by not healing as much, not examining personal items, and ignoring Maria.
My dearest Laura, I'm leaving this letter with Rachel to give to you after I'm gone. I'm far away now, in a quiet, beautiful place. Please forgive me for not saying goodbye before I left. Be well, Laura. Don't be too hard on the sisters. And Laura, about James. I know you hate him because you think he isn't nice to me, but please, give him a chance.
After that very brief overview of how the story unfolds, I want to go into more detail on what makes the story so compelling and explore the characters throughout the game. Every character is led to Silent Hill, but all with different reasons. Each character links to James as he adventures through the story, all having different emotions and dealing with issues differently, although most of the story is left to interpretation. James is here for a strong desire to find Mary, but the world is dark and he is battling with his inner demons of denial and accountability. He seems like a friendly guy that just wants to help, at least at first.
When meeting different people for the first time, he pretty much has the same attitude towards all of them, to tell them to get to safety. But as the game goes on, we discover that James has more secrets than we first assume. James seems distant sometimes when speaking to other characters. For example, when he witnesses Angela's last moments where she walks into the flames, James just leaves the room like nothing happened. It seems cold, like he does not care at all.
For me, it's always like this.
Finding out that he killed his wife is the major blow to his character. James is in denial that he killed his wife, so much so that he doesn't even want to think about when it happened either. It is prominent from the dialogue in the long hallway that the relationship was broken, with Mary showing so many different emotions out of frustration from the disease and James himself, pushing him away only to want him back moments later.
Get the hell out of here. Leave me alone already. I'm no use to anyone. I'll be dead soon anyway. It'd be easier if they just killed me. But I guess the hospital's making a nice profit off of me. Why are you still here? I told you to go. Are you deaf? Don't come back. James. Wait. Please. Don't go. Don't leave me alone. I didn't mean what I said. Please. Tell me I'll be okay. Tell me I'm not gonna die. Help me.
This inevitably seems to be the reason he killed her. He just couldn't take it anymore. The fact that she was suffering, but also that the disease had changed her. The disease prevented them from spending their lives together. To me, it feels like James was taken through this journey to face his guilt and acknowledge the severity of his crimes, and many other characters intertwine into his path.
I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain, but
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
But why?
I'm looking for... someone. Someone very important to me.
Me too. I'm looking for my mama. I mean, my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either.
Angela is my personal favourite character in the game. This is due to the delivery of her lines, her mannerisms, and her story that unfolds as you venture through the world. She is a lost soul, trying to escape from the torment she has suffered. I especially want to highlight Gianna Keel as Angela, as I don't see her spoken about enough. Angela as a character has been through so much abuse due to her father, and being left traumatized, it has reached the point that she no longer cares, like she is almost numb to the pain she feels. Gianna's delivery, speaking in a monotone voice with very little emotion most of the time, fits so well into her character. She flirts with death throughout the whole game, with us first seeing this in the apartments where she has a knife.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah. I'm James.
Angela.
Angela. Okay. Look, I'm not sure what you're planning, but there's always another way.
Really? What's the point? It's easier just to run. Maybe it's all we deserve.
We?
Me. You. We're all the same.
I'm not like you.
Are you afraid? Sorry.
It's okay.
And her walking into the flames as the ending to her story. When Angela finally shows emotion, the desperation is captured perfectly, especially after the abstract daddy fight.
Okay, Angela. It's okay. Calm down.
Don't order me around!
I'm not, It's okay. It's over.
Don't even try.
Try what?
Like you don't know. I see what you're doing. It's always the same with you. You're only after one thing.
Angela, please.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead. Say it. Or you could just force me. Like he always did.
It is revealed here that she killed her father after the abuse, and has come to Silent Hill, ready to take her own life as she no longer thinks her life is worth suffering. Angela is dealing with a real-life problem that can occur, and I think that's what makes it so emotionally impactful. Abuse can happen to anyone, and the effects it has on people's mental states is heartbreaking. She doesn't trust James, and thinks he is just going to be like her father. She can no longer trust anyone. It is likely that she believes that she is in the wrong and not her father, as is the case with many abuse victims. And yet she still feels remorseful for killing her father, as she can't tell right from wrong, even after everything he did to her, to the point where she wants to end it all. She could be a representation of James's guilt and the in-water ending, where James takes his own life to repent. Inspecting Angela's knife actually increases the chance of getting the in-water ending, because looking at the knife could be seen as having self-harming or suicidal tendencies. Angela is a beautifully crafted character that I will remember for the rest of my life.
Hey, who's there?
It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, I swear.
Hey, are you okay?
I didn't do anything. It was like that when I got here.
He... Oh, you mean the man back there? In the kitchen?
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't kill him.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not saying that you did.
Eddie is a strange character. Eddie is someone who has been bullied countless times as implied by his dialogue. When first meeting him, He's in a bathroom throwing up with a dead body nearby, and he immediately denies any involvement, even though it's clear he had something to do with it. Compare that to when you have to fight Eddie later. He shows no remorse for killing someone and completely admits to it.
Ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head and pow.
Eddie?
Oh, hi, James.
What happened here? Who was that?
I don't know. He just came at me.
Okay. So he attacked you, and you shot him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He made me do it.
Okay, calm down, Eddie. Any idea why he would do that?
I don't know. He came out of nowhere. Tried sneaking up on me in the dark. I heard footsteps, so I turned back and he was right there.
And you could tell that he wanted to hurt you.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way he looked at me, I just had to do it.
He looked at you? I thought you said he came at you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I could see it in his eyes.
His eyes.
He kept looking at me, making fun of me. I told him not to, but he didn't listen.
As the story progresses, Eddie seems more psychopathic, getting to the point where he completely snaps. I feel like he is a representation of James not feeling remorseful to the fact that he killed Mary, and Eddie actually mentions the similarities between him and James.
Hey. It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who stepped on my hand.
Maybe I did.
What's a little girl like you doing here anyway?
I dunno. What's a big dum-dum like you doing here anyway?
Hey, that's not very nice. Didn't your parents teach you any manners?
Laura is introduced as a bit of a mystery, but seems to guide us through the game. She seems to be looking for Mary, thinking she was alive in Silent Hill because of the letter she received from her. We barely found out anything until towards the end, where she admits she met Mary in the hospital that they both stayed at. Being an orphan, she saw Mary as her own mother as they got closer. She shows annoyance towards James at the start, but slowly begins to trust him, revealing more information as time goes on, only for her to express her hate towards him after finding out he killed Mary.
I killed her.
Killer! Why'd you do it? I hate you! I want her back. Give her back to me. I knew it. You didn't care about her. I hate you, James! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
I'm sorry. Mary, you know, isn't here.
There is no more elaboration, and in the Leave ending, James leaves with Laura, but it's never known how he convinced her not to hate him. Laura is not a very memorable character, but she is important due to her ties with Mary.
Mary? No. You're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
late wife. I can't believe it. Your face, your voice, you could be...
My name is Maria. I don't look like a ghost, do I? See? Warm.
Sorry, I got confused.
Hey. Where are you going?
I need to find Mary.
Didn't you say she died?
Oh. Yeah. 3 years ago. It's just... I got a letter from her.
A letter?
I know how it sounds. I'm not... I don't...
Hey. It's okay. So, what did the letter say?
She said she was waiting for me. In our special place.
And that's here? Anyway, I haven't seen her. Is this your only special place?
I don't know anymore.
Finally, we have Maria. She is a confusing character. She seems to be a character made out of James's desperation to see Mary again. A fun, attractive woman that eases James's mind, taking him away from his problems, yet also there to guide him to retribution. In the section James travels with her, she makes light-hearted comments and is almost like a beacon of light in the darkness.
Can't we stay? Just for a little while. Catch our breath before we head back out there.
I don't have time to take a break. Mary could be out there, waiting for me.
I know. It's just... this place, this whole thing, it's like a nightmare. I just wanted to get away from it, even for a second. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I guess this place is getting to me, too. Am I crazy? You know, for thinking she could be here?
Crazy is one word for it, I guess. I can think of another.
What's that?
Hopeful.
Well, that's a nicer way of putting it.
But yet, she dies multiple times throughout the course of the game, and I think this symbolizes the guilt James carries from killing Mary. This leads me to believe she's not actually real, as she comes back from the dead multiple times. In the scene in Toluca prison, she acts very differently, almost like she's a different person altogether.
Maria? Maria! I thought that thing killed you. Are you hurt?
Not at all, silly.
But the thing... it stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator and then...
James, what are you talking about?
just before. Don't you remember?
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything. But you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
Doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
She's very cryptic and has various mood swings similar to how Mary did when she was sick. If you want a deep dive into Maria, I highly recommend this video by Fat Brett, as it does a fantastic job at exploring her character.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did. Well, I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you to come and see me. But you never do. So, I wait. Wrapped in my cocoon of pain and loneliness.
The story in Silent Hill 2 is one of the most compelling stories I've ever played through. Each character is relatable and evokes many thoughts. Angela's vulnerability, Eddie's anger, Laura's innocence, and Maria's desperation all weave beautifully into James's storyline. And James himself being the guy that has to face his guilt and repent for his sins.
Stay back.
As mentioned previously, combat is something that Bloober Team have never delved into, but overall one of the weaker points of the game was actually very decent. We are primarily introduced to melee combat, which is more useful than you might think. Most of the time you can knock enemies to the floor and finish them off by stomping on them, and sometimes I let my rage out too much. As the story progresses, you unlock different types of guns like a typical survival horror game. They keep it simple with just a handgun, a shotgun and a rifle, and you can unlock a chainsaw in New Game Plus. The lack of choice was quite refreshing. No upgrading weapons like in Resident Evil's recent entries, and while I do enjoy upgrading systems, it was nice to not have to worry if I was leveling up the wrong thing. What really ended up selling the combat for me as I advanced through the game was not the actual combat itself, rather enemy placement. This is especially the case with the mannequin creatures, two pairs of legs that are stitched together. They were expertly hidden where you would least expect it, blending well into the environment, meaning you had to look around every single corner as you never quite knew where they were. What is even more interesting is that they can run from their hiding spots and into new ones. This was a nice touch as it keeps you on your toes at every moment. Later on in the game, they also start crawling along walls and ceilings, so not only do you have to look around corners, you have to look elsewhere too. Enemy variation is lacking, unfortunately. There's only 5 enemy types in the entire game if we're not counting bosses, with one of these literally just being cockroaches. I feel like they really had an opportunity to create some more horrifying creatures, especially in the other world, rather than reskinning a pre-existing enemy and only changing their behaviour slightly, although some of these changes were actually pretty good. After doing some more research on this, there are actually the same amount of enemies in the remake and the original game, but with the remake being twice as long to beat, I imagine that lack of enemy variety is way more noticeable in the 2024 version. The designs they did include were really well done, however. The previously mentioned mannequins, the nurses who creepily walk down hallways in a disjointed fashion, and the mandarins who walk along the ceiling or under the floor and stalk you through some parts of the game were all well crafted. There are 5 boss fights in the game, and they were all pretty solid. It starts off with the first showdown with Pyramid Head. In my first playthrough, I didn't realise this was a survival thing rather than beating him, although I should have known better considering it's literally Pyramid Head. Absolutely no way this would be the first boss. Essentially, just run around like a maniac trying to dodge all of his attacks he does with his massive sword. He gets progressively faster the longer the fight goes on. Then we have Flesh Lip, a creature in a cage that attacks you by busting through the ceiling. Eventually you can break the cage, and then the creature walks around kinda like a spider, using the broken cage parts as legs. It's a super cool design. Next is the Abstract Daddy. This is a really long boss fight that takes place in loads of long hallways as you traverse through a maze of sorts. This is the darkest and most disturbing fight of them all, and expertly done, with the Abstract Daddy being portrayed as 2 figures on a bed frame, with one on top of the other. It is a depiction of the abuse Angela was put through by her father. The small details in this fight are emotionally heartbreaking. For example, there's a small room that we can go into which has newspaper clippings, a teddy bear, and some torn photos. After encountering him many times, busting through walls, we fight him at the end with a room full of pistons and cocks. The second to last boss battle is Eddie. After encountering him a few times throughout the game, we have to fight him in a room with a bunch of meat hanging from the ceiling, like a storage room at a butcher's. As the fight progresses, Eddie shoots pipes that obscure your vision even more, so you practically can't see anything. This makes it easy for Eddie to take you by surprise, as you never know which direction he is coming from. The fear of the unknown is what actually makes this part the scariest in the entire game for me. The third phase is the same, but now the meat moves around too, disorientating your surroundings even more. Definitely my favourite boss fight for the fear factor alone. The final section has 2 main boss fights. This includes 2 Pyramid Heads at once, who go out in a gruesome way, and Maria or Mary as mentioned earlier depending on the choices you made throughout the game. A horrifying rendition of either of the 2, trapped in a cage, similar to Flesh Lip in a way. The creatures in Silent Hill 2 help create a terrifying atmosphere, and is honestly one of the scariest games I've played.
Park on the lake. We spent the whole day there. Just the 2 of us staring at the water.
When starting a new game, I like the fact that difficulty is split for combat and puzzles. The reason for this is because I am a major fan of puzzle games, but tend to get overwhelmed sometimes with combat. Therefore, picking easy for combat and normal for puzzles was a no-brainer for me. There were a few mechanics introduced early which I really liked. While breaking glass windows was used to get to places to advance the story, you could also break shop and car windows to gain access to more items that were helpful, like ammo and consumables. I also loved the radio mechanic. If you have it on, static will play when enemies are close to you. This was useful for me, a person who is terrified of everything, to get through the tough parts of the game. And of course, there is an option to turn it off if you want to fear for your life even more. There's lots of small details that can be missed as well. You can shine a flashlight into Maria's eyes, or shoot near her and she will react to it. Let's talk about the puzzles. The puzzles in this game were fantastic and plentiful. They are quite a bit harder than your average survival horror game, and I actually had to use my brain, but a good balance meant that I did not need to look them up. A few memorable puzzles were the apartment safe code puzzle, where you had to solve a riddle by finding numbers on the wall that was covered in writing. I appreciate that the answer to the puzzle was built into the environment itself. Another notable one is the hangman puzzle, where you have to match up verses to create stories. This was probably the hardest puzzle for me, as I did not visually see that they match up. The symbolism is haunting, with nooses hanging around the room. We have to select the correct answer based on the stories in the puzzle, finding out who is innocent out of all the criminals' stories. If you choose the wrong noose, you are plummeted into a death trap of enemies, and have to climb out to try again. There are so many other puzzles I can talk about. The moth puzzle was fun. The labyrinth was enjoyable as it rotated the environment. There's all sorts to be found in this game.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another exciting edition of Trick or Treat, where you answer our questions correctly and win a prize beyond your wildest dreams. Or you fail to answer correctly and receive the punishment.
The game is a linear experience, but has optional content that doesn't stray you too far from the main path. For me in particular, this was perfect, as I prefer a linear experience rather than a massive open world, due to often feeling overwhelmed with what to do. Some examples of optional content are a quiz on an elevator to test your memory and observance of facts on the game, which then links you to a box you can open for some supplies. There's also a door with a keypad lock in the town, which if you figure out the code, you can get some more supplies. As is usually the case with these games, there are memos you can read and collect that help flesh out the game a bit more. There are also personal items previously mentioned. The glimpses of the past as someone new to the game were confusing until I looked up what they were after completion. These were a nice nod to the original if you have played it. One of the issues I had with the game was its length. I love long games, as it just means more content to enjoy. My first playthrough was 16 hours, and I tried to find everything. And while I think the side content was a perfect amount, the actual main path was a bit too long in this case for me. In particular, the otherworld sections in the mid to end game felt so dragged out, to the point where it felt like the same gameplay over and over, apart from the new puzzles and bosses. It got to the point where I thought the game was going to end and stay in the other world for the rest of the game. But to my pleasant surprise, we are in the normal world as we go across the lake to the hotel. This was my favourite section of the entire game. A typical twist for survival horror was added here. James has to put all of his belongings in a locker and venture onward without any defense mechanisms, running around trying to avoid enemies while solving puzzles. This came in as a shock to me, as it was right at the end of the game. It definitely seemed a little out of place, like they wanted to throw in one extra curveball. But I thoroughly enjoyed it nonetheless, as it continued with the uneasy feeling I experienced throughout the game. As someone who has played other Bloober Team games, most notably Layers of Fear, I fully understand just how capable their team is at creating visually stunning environments with tense immersion. Silent Hill 2 Remake is no exception, and is honestly one of the most immersive and scary games I have ever played. There is so much detail in everything. Take for example the walk up to Silent Hill where you go through a farm. The details in the mud and puddles look completely real. You could spend ages reading all the signs. They even put so much detail into things that are not even accessible to walk to. What stands out even more is the Silent Hill town. Everything has its purpose, and it just looks like a real abandoned place you could discover in real life. The thick fog only adds to the immersion, making it a truly haunting experience. Unfortunately for me, performance was one of the major issues I had with the game. I'm really not sure why I had such issues, considering I have a decent PC, but it generally seems to be a trend with games built in Unreal Engine 5. The game was a stuttering mess, particularly when I was loading into a new area. I wouldn't have minded so much if it didn't continue to lag until I either loaded my save, quit out, or changed some settings in the menu. This quite heavily impacted on my enjoyment, as I would literally have to interrupt gameplay to fix it, as it wouldn't fix itself. I also had to put my graphics on low so it would run better, so the graphics would look a little strange sometimes. The game did have a few bugs and glitches, like enemies standing up even though they had already been killed. The worst bugs I found were during cutscenes with the graphics. For example, when James tells Laura that he killed Mary, you can see hair glitching out, which ruined the immersion, especially since it was one of the most important scenes in the game. I also appreciate the amount of options the game gives you. Small things like tweaking the HUD, button prompts, and even giving us full filters for the game were more than I usually see compared to other games.
Wait. You're not my mama. It's you.
I'm sorry, Angela. I think you were right. What we're looking for, it's not here. Not anymore.
Thank you for helping me earlier. But I wish you hadn't. Even Mama said it. I deserve what happened.
No, Angela, that is not true.
The sound design is fantastic in Silent Hill 2. It absolutely captures how haunting the town is, and continuously builds up tension at the right moments. At the start, where we are walking around the abandoned streets, the eerie sounds leave you with a sense of dread.
Hey, wait.
The music is also one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. Throughout the video, I've tried to include many different songs, but here are a few that I love that I didn't play.
Mary.
Hey, handsome.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I told you. I wanted the pain to end.
Yeah. You did. But that's not why I did it. The truth is, I hated you. I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back.
If that's true, then why do you look so sad?
Mary.
It's okay, James.
Overall, as a person who's never played a Silent Hill game before, this was a perfect entry into the franchise. The story was deep and emotional, and I really felt for the characters. A story about guilt and trauma. The exploration was top-notch, all while being the linear experience that I look for and enjoy in games. I think Bloober Team did a fantastic job as a company who has never explored combat in horror games. And while I felt like the other world areas were too long, the game left a real lasting impression on me that I will remember for years to come. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions of games you would like me to explore or improvements I can make, please feel free to recommend some.